Vinyl community, I'm back to do a recent vinyl finds video, and this is probably going to be the best video I've done quality-wise, at least when it comes to records, because I've had some mental 2 months chasing down these records. As I told you before, I had like 400 records that I bought for 30 bucks and sold for many hundreds of bucks over the past 2-3 months. So I took that money, and this is the result of that, I guess. And I'm super happy with it. So let's get right into it. Okay, so the first one is one that I never thought I would own. I didn't even have it on my want list because I have a very good sounding mono copy of a reissue Half-Speed Master from Abbey Road Studios. So as I said, I didn't even have this on my radar, but this and the next one I'm going to show you, a guy was selling, so I managed to package them and got a insanely good price on both of them. Not free, I had to pay up, but I'm glad I did. I had the money from the record sales, so now I own a first UK stereo press of Odyssey and Oracle by the Zombies. The very first UK stereo with the dark sort of orange label there. I'm still pinching myself that I own this, and the reason I can own this and that I didn't have to pay up too much, because as you can see, it's in immaculate condition. The vinyl plays maybe near mint minus. It's like it's never been played. It's in fantastic condition, but the backside, the previous owner, I think the first owner of this had the good taste of marking this with a red pen all over. And if you are going to destroy the backside of this with a red pen, I guess this is the way to go. I think I would be more bummed out if he had written like Steven with red marker or something like that. And you also have a sticker here that I think is removable, but I won't get into that. So yeah, that's the reason I could get it for the price that I got it for, I guess. To own a first UK stereo press of this Holy Grail is amazing, just amazing. I'm still so stoked. And the next one is, I'm almost as stoked. From the same guy, I packaged these, and I now own a first Swedish press of Doris, Did You Give the World Some Love Today Baby, from 1970. Also very hard to find these days. Not many were pressed back in the day. You have Jan Loffe Karlsson from Hansson and Karlsson playing drums on this, and Bernt Egerblad like not conducting but arranging the entire thing. Wrote some songs for it also. So there's the label there on the famous Odeon. Just like the Zombies record, this is almost like unplayed. Sounds perfect, and the cover is in very nice shape. So just 2 minutes about Doris. She released a solo record a couple of years before this. When she was recording this, or was about to record this, the label wanted her to produce like radio-friendly songs, and she wasn't interested in that, so she produced this. The label was pissed, didn't do any marketing for the record, and it just sunk like a stone. No one bought it. No one noticed it, and it just was forgotten. Then in the late 90s, I think at least, a UK label made a jazz compilation record with like Miles Davis, John Coltrane, Nina Simone, Billie Holiday, and also Doris. They took the second song on the second side, the first song on the second side, called You Never Come Closer, and put on there. I have no idea why, and it's such a weird thing because they are so much famous jazz musicians on that compilation, and then Doris. But a lot of DJs got their eyes up for this, and I think snagged a lot of the original pressings. Very popular in the UK, and after that it just exploded. Today it's very hard to find, it's very expensive, and it has become a classic sort of prog record. this is not a prog record. This is more of a pop soul record with jazz, funk, prog elements in it. But most of all, in my opinion, it's a pop, jazz pop record maybe. I've had a reissue since 2010 maybe, 9, something like that. And I've known about it since at least mid 2000s when it was reissued on CD. Great LP. The next Grail, and this is also a Grail to me, is Orange Bicycle from 1970, and I've never been as close to the Will Malone solo record as I am now. I showed my reissue maybe a year ago of this orange vinyl, and now I own a first UK press of this in pretty good shape, VG plus, I would say, at least for the vinyl. Original sleeve and all that good stuff. And Orange Bicycle was a band that Will Malone was in, and they do a lot of like this is labeled as a psychedelic record, but I think it's more of a pop rock record really. They do some Elton John covers, early Elton John covers. This is from 1970, and they have some original work too. If you only have time to sample one song, you should sample "Make It Rain," the 4th song on the first side, which is a masterpiece. But the entire record is just perfect. This is definitely, in my opinion, 5-star record. Now, is it prog or psych? Yeah, maybe a little bit, but in my opinion it sounds more like the Faces, like this sort of rock, but the musicians is great, in my opinion, better than the Faces, anything the Faces ever did. Yeah, a gem really, and I'm super glad to have the original UK press. I could say that this was a Grail of mine, but I would be lying, because I had no idea that this even existed 3 months ago. I was on YouTube, tried to search for new music, stumbled upon this, thought it sounded very strange and beautiful. Strange because it's recorded in 1981, but it sounds like a 1969 or 71 maybe record. And it's funny how the universe works, because after that, only maybe 1 or 2 weeks after that, one of my favorite stores here in Sweden got a copy in, and I asked him for the price, haggled down a bit, and did some trades and stuff like that. So now I own the record. But isn't it strange, because this is a really rare record. This is Jean-Yves Taubin, maybe Taubin, a French guy who tried to make this in French, but he couldn't find a label who wanted to put it out. So he went to Denmark, and no one in Denmark wanted to put it out there either. So he pressed this himself in 200 copies. And there's been information about that he pressed it in 300 copies, so 300 copies, something like that, in 1981. And he brought in some great, music-wise, great session musicians, Danish musicians, for the session. And what is this? This is folk, dark folk maybe, very French sounding, but with a sort of like dark twist to it. I would be lying if I said that it sounds like a blend between Nick Drake and Serge Gainsbourg, because I have no idea. But I can't even. It sounds like nothing I've heard. It's so beautiful, great guitar picking, and I have no idea what he sings about, because he sings in French. But the feeling that that erupts through the speakers is I mean, good enough really to understand the quality of the music. I got it for a great price, and in my opinion, if this, because there's not many people knowing about this record, only pressed 200 copies, I mean, or 300. It's a very rare record even to have heard, but if this gets out there and people start listening to it I bet it will skyrocket in price. Okay, so the next one, that was the sort of the Grails. This is also a record I've had on my want list for forever. I've seen it sold online in the States for decent price, but with the toll and taxes and the shipment or shipping, it would be just too much money. But in the same store as the Jean record, Gaia, it's called Gaian. The same store, he had this for a very good price, so I couldn't resist. Eddie Hazel, Game, Games and Guitar Thanks from 1977. Produced by George Clinton, he also plays on this, so it's very funkadelic, but I should say that this is, because it's Eddie Hazel, the guitarist in funkadelic, it's very guitar based, so it's like the best parts of Maggot Brain really for an entire record. He does a cover of California Dreamin' by Mamas and the Papas, which is fantastic, and I Want You She's So Heavy, the Beatles song that he covers too. If you're a guitar fan, check this out. It's amazing. Just mind-blowing good guitar, and it's funky and it's easy to get into and listen to. I think a lot of people would like that who haven't heard it, but a lot of people knows about this. Maggot Brain and this, in my opinion, is the best thing that Funkadelic and Parliament ever did. And this isn't even a Funkadelic or a Parliament record. Another one from the same store that's also been on my want list for a while, so now I only need to find the other two, is the West Coast Pop Art Experimental Band Volume 2, 1967, I think. Original first press from Germany, and comes with that sort of old Steamboat reprise records label. And this is also a masterpiece. In my opinion, the third one is the most interesting, but this is really, really good. Classic psych record. So I'm a little bit late in the psych game to get this. I've seen it in some stores in Sweden, very highly priced, and they just fly off the shelves right away. I think there's been 2 times online that stores put out like pictures of their wall, and one store even had all 3, and a girl grabbed them just right in front of me, in front of my eyes on the computer. I didn't have the time to snag them. And the worst thing is, I follow her also on Instagram, and she didn't think they were any good. But I don't know what happened to the records. I guess she sold them. Okay, so this is one that I've been looking for. The original copy of this reissue. I've been looking for this for a while, but it's very expensive, and I want it with the right inner sheet. But it's impossible to find. So I caved in and got the Get Back reissue of this from 2009, I think it's from, or 12 maybe. Aria, Arbeit-Macht-Frei from 1973 originally. And the reason that it's so damn hard to find is that the original copies doesn't include the original gun insert, And I've even heard about people who has the original copy of this, that they bought the reissues just to add the gun into the original copy. Not cool. But it sounds fantastic. I'm still gonna look for an original copy of this, but with the gun. But until then, this works just fine. Arbeit-Macht-Frei is an Italian band, released a lot of records. This is the first one, if I'm not mistaken, from 1973. But in my opinion, it doesn't really sound like an Italian prog group. Not that classic Italian sound of the prog groups. It's more a blend between like German and UK sort of prog from the time period, 1972-73. But that's just my opinion. Very, very good. This is a masterpiece. I mean, check the song Albrecht Must Fly Out. Second song on the first side, 7 minutes long. It's a monster of a song, just insane, really, really good. So I'm really glad to have that reissue now in my possession, and I got it really, really on online buy, and no one was bidding on it. So I just waited until it was like 30 seconds left or something like that. And I was the first bidder, and I won it for that price. It's I can't understand why. Like 18 bucks maybe, something like that. And from the same guy, because I bought that so cheaply, I added these two just on chance. This is one I've had on my want list because of one song. Got it really, really cheap. This is the Dutch band Solution. Their second release, Divergence, I think it's pronounced. Yeah, I don't know. This is jazz rock. The first one that they released were more psychedelic rock, but this is jazz rock. And I got a little bit disappointed of this. I think I had sampled one song and thought, like, if I get it cheaply, I'll buy it. And I have to say, it wasn't as good as I hoped it to be. Too polished, too much studio, if you get my drift. Awesome cover, but that's probably the best thing about the record. And from the same seller I got this also on chance, and this was the opposite. This is all very, very cheap. Everyone can buy this very cheaply, and it's amazing, fantastic. Jesper Van Hoft and George Gruntz, Fairytale from 1979 on MPS Records. This is fantastic. You have Kenny Wheeler playing trumpet on this, and you also have Jan Ackerman playing guitar and Tony Oxley on drums, with a big band of like 20 people backing them up. There's the MPS, and this is the German press. There's also a Dutch press of this, but it's the German press. Yeah, just great. I mean, fantastic. Get it. If you find it cheap, get it. You won't be disappointed if you're a jazz rock fan. Yeah, solid stuff. And just to show you, in the huge amount of boxes that I got and now sold, there were maybe I kept like 20. I've shown them, but I actually kept this also, My Way with Frank Sinatra. So I'm slowly building a sort of free Frank Sinatra collection. I play them if there's like 3 or 4 songs that I really like. I keep the Sinatra stuff, but there's so much Sinatra, and a lot of it, in my opinion, is not that good. So yeah. Okay, contacted a guy because he wanted like 80 bucks for these boxes, and I was super interested. I tried to trade with him, but he didn't want it. He needed solid cash, and I didn't want to pay that. So I think I waited like 3 weeks, something like that. Then he had brought them down to 60 bucks each, still sealed. I mean, still in the plastic, never played. And I thought like maybe I'll give him an offer. So I offered him, I think, 40 bucks each for these, and he took it. So I went actually to his place in south of Sweden and brought them home to me, and now I've opened them up and played them. And I'm very happy to add these to the Bob Dylan collection. This is the Bootleg Series Volume 10, another self-portrait from 1969 to 71. This is 3 LPs, 1 book and 3 CDs from self-portrait, obviously, New Morning, Greatest Hits 2, Nashville Skyline, and I think, yeah, Isle of Wight live. Not my favorite Bob Dylan record, but it's better than most people. In my opinion, it's better than most people say. Self-portrait. Some fantastic covers, in my opinion, on it. But this brought that record to new light. When you read a book and you listen to these kind of alternate takes and outtakes and stuff like that, and maybe it's the mix between the other records also. But this is a fantastic box set. Highly recommended, actually. And the next one, also 40 bucks, still sealed, was this. This is the Bootleg Series Volume 11. Dylan and the Band, The Basement Tapes, Raw. You have restored versions, alternate versions, unreleased tracks, and yeah, I think that's it. Alternate versions of songs, 3 LP set, 2 CDs, and 1 huge ass book. If you're a Basement Tapes fan, this is a no-brainer. I'm not a huge fan of Basement Tapes. I thought this was okay. I think that the Basement Tapes they have a little bit too much just fun playing around in the kind of studio, home studio. There's a couple of tracks that I like from Basement Tapes, but I'm not one to say that it's one of the best Dylan and the band releases. A lot of people loves Basement Tapes. I'm not one of them, but the box set was cool. It's an okay box set, and I mean, and music quality wise, sound quality wise, it's amazing. I mean, the sound that they have restored it to is just. And the last one, and this is my favorite of the lot, the Cutting Edge, Best of the Cutting Edge, volume 12 in the bootleg series. So you have, I think, this is from the kind of trilogy that he did, Bring It All Back Home, Blonde on Blonde, and Another Side, maybe, of Bob Dylan. I can't remember the third right now. Same. Again, 3 LP, 2 CDs, and a huge book. And this is my favorite. I mean, the songs on here. Love Minus Zero, I'll Keep It With Mine. Dylan's 115 Dream, She Belongs to Me, Subterranean Homesick Blues, Outlaw Blues, and On the Road Again. This is alternate takes or solo acoustic. And that's just the first side on the first LP. Insane. So glad to add this to the Dylan collection. Still sealed, $40. So yeah. Okay, so the next one I'm going to show on a Swedish artist that sings in Swedish. I know that some Danish and Norwegian people likes this artist, so I'm going to talk in English when I show them. But if you're from another part of the world, I don't think that this is going to be interesting. So thank you so much for watching. Please comment if you have any comments. And I'll talk to you soon. But to you Swedish guys and gals and Norwegian and Danish, I managed to find still sealed the reissues of Lars Winnerbäck's Incl, numbered edition. As I said, still sealed for a great price. Söndermarken. This is people's favorite one, not mine, but it's still very, very good. And last but not least, my favorite of his records, and the one I've been listening to the most since it came out, Vatten under broarna. Yeah, I'm super happy that I got these. They weren't cheap. They are very rare now. They pressed it in 1,000 copies 10 years ago or something like that. Not 10, but 6, 7 years ago. And I didn't get them. Nowadays they are extremely expensive. Well, not extremely, but very expensive. And hard to find. People are holding on to them. So finding them sealed was... I had to buy them. But I think I will regret it. Because I bet that like 2 years from now, within 2 years from now, they will reissue his catalog. He's the most, or one of the most famous and liked artists in Sweden, so obviously they are going to re-release the material and they will go down in price, and I have overpaid for them, but until then I will love those records. So yeah, that's all from me. Thank you so much for watching, and please comment if you have any comments, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye!